Just give me 12 minutes of your time and I promise you that today I'm going to share 7 Japanese philosophies that can help you get ahead of 97% of people. And this isn't just about philosophy, I'm going to back it up with hard-hitting facts. I'll show you how you can actually apply these things and why the Japanese use these philosophies to achieve success. Well, Japan is a country where more than 1,500 earthquakes occur every year. This is the same country that has been hit by nuclear bombs more than twice. It has faced national disasters and economic collapses. And yet, despite all of this, today Japan ranks among the top 5 economies in the world. And it's not just about money. Even from a health perspective, if you look at Japan, it's a country where you'll find many long-living, healthy people with top-notch discipline and highly advanced technology. But how did all this happen? It wasn't always like this. It's not like they always had a lot of resources. It's not just that they have a population full of young, smart people. It's not just that they have a perfect system. Well, even if all these things do exist, they're just surface-level factors. The real reason Japan has come so far ahead is because of their unbreakable mindset. Because if a building collapses, it can be rebuilt. But if the mindset isn't strong, none of these achievements are possible. And how did Japan develop such a strong mindset? It's because of their ancient philosophies, the same philosophies that they never forgot like we have. They embraced them and they still apply them even today. These are the very philosophies that ancient Japanese people used to transform ordinary individuals into warriors. A common person, when taught these philosophies, could be turned into a warrior capable of both taking life and giving their own. The principles I'm about to share with you aren't just principles. You could actually call them a system for living life. A system that will push you out of your comfort zone and lead you towards discipline. You'll move from confusion to clarity and from failure to freedom. If you truly understand these 7 philosophies and apply even a little bit of them in your life, you'll definitely get ahead of most people in the world. To explain these philosophies, I'll be sharing several interesting stories with you. Plus, I'll also share one habit that you can start practicing from today itself. In this modern time, it's something that will keep both your logical and emotional brain happy. So let's begin with the very first Japanese philosophy, without which the other 6 are incomplete. This philosophy is called Shugyo, which means ritual suffering. You may have seen monks who constantly engage in extremely physically challenging acts, like pulling heavy carts with their necks or punching a tree thousands of times so their fists become like iron. They achieve such extreme flexibility that they can bend their bodies like paper. Some monks even perform another physically challenging act. They calmly sit under freezing waterfalls during winter. Their bodies often shiver violently at times in that bone-chilling cold, yet they sit there, completely still and peaceful, right under the waterfall. Their whole body shivers, but still they don't move. Now you might ask, why do they put themselves through such torture? Well, this isn't torture. This is Shugyo, a form of training that first breaks you from the inside and then rebuilds you stronger than before. Look, in today's world, 99% of people focus on running away from discomfort. Feel a little hot? Turn on the AC immediately. Feeling even a little bored? Pick up the phone. Feeling hungry? Instantly order something online. But Japanese philosophy knows very well that comfort makes a person weak. That's why they tried to live life like a dojo and saw pain itself as a form of practice. They didn't see obstacles as obstacles, they saw obstacles as the way. In Hagakure, it is written, "The way of the samurai is found in death," but that doesn't mean physical death. It means killing the comfort-loving version of yourself. And one of the best ways to kill comfort is through discipline. Take Miyamoto Musashi, for example. He won more than 60 duels in his lifetime. But he wasn't just skilled with the sword. He also practiced calligraphy. Why? Because creating a perfect brush stroke requires the same discipline as wielding a sword perfectly. A discipline that's boring, tiring, and demanding. But that's the way of the warrior. That's why you too should start bringing Shugyo into your life. Deliberately, move toward discomfort. Don't run from it, face it head on. Feeling cold? Still take a bath with cold water. Try sitting for one day without fans or comfort. Try sitting without your phone for 20 to 30 minutes. And forget all that, just start exercising. Do you know? Only 23% of people exercise regularly. If you just build this one habit, a modern form of Shugyo, where you break yourself down in the gym, you'll already be ahead of 77% of people. You have to do this with discipline. And remember one more thing, discipline without direction is just just suffering. But yes, you're not supposed to suffer meaninglessly. There has to be a purpose behind the pain. And that purpose comes from principle number 2 called Ikigai, your purpose, your pull. If Shugyo is the fire, then Ikigai is the compass. It tells you which direction to release that fire in. Ikigai is your reason to wake up each morning with energy and enthusiasm. It gives you purpose, which turns your routine into a ritual and your pain into progress. There's a doctor in Japan named Dr. Shigeki Hainohara, who is known as the world's longest-serving physician. He wrote many books, treated countless patients, delivered numerous lectures, and he never stopped working, not even in his later years. Even after turning 100, people would often say to him, "You're so old now, why do you still need to work?" To that, he would smile and say, "I still have so much to give to the world." And every morning, he would wake up with that same excitement to help others because that was his Ikigai. In fact, do you know? Even science supports this. Japan has one of the highest life expectancies in the world, especially in areas where people actively follow Ikigai. That's why you too should find one thing and try to do it with your whole heart. Try to discover your Ikigai because 92% of people set goals, but don't stick to them. People give up on their goals, especially in today's world, where everyone is trying to pull you in their direction, trying to steal your focus away from you. And because of this, sometimes even your Ikigai can turn into frustration. That's why it's important to understand the next principle, so that your Ikigai doesn't turn into disappointment. The third principle is called Kodawari, the purest form of excellence with focus. See, Ikigai gives you your why, while Kodawari gives you your how. In Japanese culture, even when they do the smallest tasks, they do it with full heart and utmost precision. You must have seen YouTube videos where Japanese people even take off their slippers and line them up perfectly. You could basically say that's a form of Kodawari, a relentless pursuit of excellence, even in the smallest details. And a great example of this is Jiro the sushi master. Do you know? In Japan, there's a chef named Jiro Ono who is over 90 years old, and yet he does the same work every single day. What he does every day may seem simple, just making sushi, but he does it with excellence. He takes the rice with precision, maintains the perfect temperature, cuts the fish in an exact and flawless way, and aligns the plate with perfection. Everything is just right every single time, whether someone is watching or not. And that's exactly why he has received not 1, not 2, but 3 Michelin stars. Even Barack Obama, after eating his sushi, praised it by saying, "That's one of the best sushi I've ever had." That's a good sushi right there. That too is a form of Kodawari. Now, how can you apply this principle? Today, only 14% of people are effectively using new tools, whether it's AI or other emerging technologies. To master yourself in something, if you want to get ahead of 86% of people, start using these new age tools. Even if you can't use all of them, at least in some areas, focus on the small details. Chase excellence. Try to do things with your whole heart. Give your 100%. While doing all this, make sure to remember one thing. Sometimes, even after giving your 100%, even after doing everything right, things still won't turn out the way you wanted. And this is exactly where most people break down because they try to control things that are not in their hands. And this is where the next principle comes in, which teaches you something important. Has this ever happened to you, where you gave your absolute best, your full 100%? You worked really hard, but your results didn't turn out well, or something happened that was completely out of your control and you got really frustrated. In such moments, the Japanese say, "Shikata jie nai," it can't be helped. And this is a real story. In 2011, when the tsunami hit Japan, entire towns were wiped out. People lost their homes, their families, and all their belongings were scattered everywhere. But still, the cameras captured something remarkable. The Japanese people weren't getting frustrated, they weren't fighting or reacting in anger. Instead, they were calmly cleaning up their surroundings, trying to put everything back in order. Just one sentence could be heard, "Shikata jie nai," and it doesn't mean giving up or surrendering. It means having emotional clarity. See, this happens to us too. Someone loses their job, someone goes through a breakup, or gets stuck in a traffic jam. And what do we usually do? We curse, we argue, and often do things that end up hurting us even more. But what this principle teaches is, don't take stress, save your energy, and use it on the things you can actually control. You'll make your mind 10 times lighter, and you'll get far ahead of most people in the world. Now, what's one habit you can bring into your life? Stop watching useless news and all those things over which you have zero control. Instead, focus on yourself, work on improving yourself, and accept the things you cannot control. But yes, when you learn to accept things as they are, you'll start noticing some cracks, some flaws, and imperfections in life. And at that point, you need to understand the next Japanese philosophy called Wabi-Sabi. Do you know, in Japan there's a tradition called kintsugi, a ritual where if a bowl breaks, they don't throw it away, they repair it. They don't just fix it anyway, they repair it using gold or silver. And why do they do this? Because instead of hiding the cracks, they want to highlight them. Through this, they send a powerful message. Even broken things can be valuable. Everything doesn't have to look perfect. In fact, it's often the imperfect things that are the most real. This is a very beautiful philosophy if you really think about it. Many times, we try so hard to hide our imperfections. If we want to make a video, we want it to be absolutely perfect. If we want to do any task, we aim for perfection. And in trying to make things perfect, we often don't even start at all. Remember, a little bit of imperfection in your life isn't a bad thing. But yes, you should chase excellence, but don't hold yourself back in the name of doing things perfectly. It's a sweet balance, and the day you understand it, you'll start to truly enjoy living life. Research shows that 80 to 90% of beginners quit because they feel they're not ready to do the task. And in that mindset, they end up taking no action at all. Whereas if they just set perfectionism aside and tried to chase excellence instead, by following this next Japanese principle, then one day the world itself might call them perfect. And what is that principle? It is called Kaizen. Kaizen means daily improvement. Start something and then keep bringing small improvements to it every day. You don't need big changes. Even small, consistent improvements can lead to significant results over time. For example, do you know, back in the 1950s, there was a worker on Toyota's assembly line who noticed that it was taking 4 extra seconds to attach a car door. It was just a small thing, making sure the door fit properly. But he focused on improving that small detail. He reported it so that the design could be made faster and more efficient. And do you know what happened because of that tiny change? When those 4 seconds were multiplied across the millions of cars being produced, it ended up saving thousands of hours and millions of dollars. Just by focusing on one small thing, that company achieved massive results. And this is what Kaizen is all about, daily improvements in small things. You can apply this through a very powerful habit, reading. Do you know, over 70% of people never read a book again after college. They stop growing their mindset completely. But even if you just read a book a little, just 1 or 2 pages a day, you can still bring about daily percentage improvement in yourself. And when that compounds over time, it creates a massive effect. Now look, I've already shared many principles with you. In total, I've told you 6 principles. But the 7th one is the most important, because without understanding it, you might not be able to apply any of the others. The 7th principle is danshari. Do you know about it? In Japan, there's an author named Hideko Yamashita who popularized this idea. Danshari is basically something she used while helping a woman who was feeling very lost and stuck in her life. This woman had more than 3,000 books. Yes, over 3,000 books in her small Tokyo apartment. Hideko asked her, "When you walk into your home, do you feel powerful or powerless?" As soon as the woman heard that, tears welled up in her eyes. She said, "I feel very powerless and suffocated amidst so many books." Hideko told her, "Start removing all the books from here and only keep those that have touched your soul." Basically, the clutter that had built up around her, she began to remove it. And as she started clearing it out, her mind also began to calm down. She left her toxic job and started focusing on art. She said, "That day, I didn't just clean my home, I cleansed my mind and my identity." And this is what danshari means. Letting go of what you don't need to discover who you really are. In Goodbye, Things by Fumio Sasaki, he says, "The less you have, the more clarity you gain in life." So that's why I want to tell you this, inspired by all of it. Although I've shared 7 principles with you in total, you don't need to apply all 7. Don't try to bring too many habits into your life at once. Go deep, not wide. Train your mind to focus on just one thing. I've shared 7 principles with you today. Pick any one of them and for the next 7 days apply it consistently. That's it. What will this do? By doing just this, you'll automatically end up following danshari, Kaizen, and many of the other principles too. And if you followed even one habit I mentioned for 7 days, then make sure to share it in the comments. Starting today, which one new thing are you going to practice for the next 7 days? Make sure to share that too. Because look, I don't want you to just come here and learn things from the video. I want you to actually apply them practically and transform your life. That's the real power. So now, comment and tell me, out of these 7 principles, which one principle are you going to pick? Which one are you going to apply in your life starting today for the next 7 days? And I want you to come back daily and leave a comment below to stay accountable. I'll also be checking them regularly. Just write day 1, then reply to that with day 2, then day 3, and so on. This way, you'll also start to feel a sense of continuity. You'll understand what I'm really trying to say. Alright then, that's it for now. See you in the next video. Bye bye.